Good morning, dear students. So till now we have been looking some mathematical equations, something like x equals to 2, y equals to 4. All these things we have been looking at. Now I might have a situation in real life where we are going to need something like tell me a number which is greater than 2. Find me a number which is greater than 2. Some of them we have already been looking at in the chapter sets, and even a number which is greater than or equal to 4. X can be greater than 2, y can be greater than or equal to 4. In real life situation, I can give you an example, something like tell me the names of the boys whose height is more than 150 centimeter. So I want the collection of all the boys, all the students. I'll just let us make it common. Students whose height is more than 150 centimeter. In this case, I will not be able to solve this problem only with the help of a particular equations. So if you see, this is not an equation. This is something called as inequations. I repeat, this is called as inequations. So inequations can be of different forms. So let me just write them one by one. So first, as you know, will be something less than, after that greater than, after this less than or equal to, after this greater than or equal to. So if I say x is less than 3, then numbers can be 2, 1, 0, minus 2, minus 1, and so on. If I say x is greater than 4, then I can have numbers like 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, and so on. But if I say x is greater than, less than or equal to 3, then even 3 has to be included, because this sign stands for equal to. And similarly, x is greater than or equal to 4, then even 4 has to be included. So these are the different kind of inequations that we will be looking at in this chapter. But before going into solving the problems, we should understand some terminologies regarding this chapter. So the first new term that we will be looking at is something called as replacement set. Replacement set. So let me just take the same example of students. Students having height more than 150 centimeter. I need to have a particular solution, a particular set, right, from where I can take the solution. So let's imagine I want to find the number of students who are having height more than 150 centimeter from, let us say, 6A. Let me just take a random class, 6A. So 6A, those students whose height is more than 150 centimeter has to come from 6A, right? Now this 6A, that from where the solution has to come, is called your replacement set. So let me just give you a mathematical example that was a real life situation. Something like if I have x is less than 3, and if the question is saying this x has to come from natural numbers. So this natural number is nothing but replacement set. So I'll just read out, or rather speak out, the formal definition of replacement set. So the formal definition of replacement set goes something like this. For any linear inequation in X, the set from which the values of variable X is chosen is called the replacement set or the universal set. I hope everyone noted it down. So this was the formal definition of replacement set. Now let me just introduce to you one more term. So that is solution set, or it is also called as truth set. Now out of the 6A, if I found out that only one student, out of this set I found out that only one student was having height of more than 150 centimeter, and that person name was, say, Pratyaksh. This is just a hypothetical name. So I don't even teach in 6A, so I'll not be knowing who are there in 6A. So let me assume that the student Pratyaksh is the only one who is having height more than 150 centimeter. So I can say that the set containing Pratyaksh is known as the solution set. And if we go back to the example, x is less than 3, x belongs to n, and many of you would have guessed it by now. It will be only 1 and 2. So I can say that 1 and 2 is the solution set of this linear inequation. So formally, solution set can be defined as follows. The set of elements of the replacement set, universal set, which satisfy the given inequation is called the solution set or the truth set. So these are the terminologies regarding your linear inequations. Now, before we go ahead and solving the problem, one small thing you have to keep in mind which forms the major part or the major thing that you should understand for this chapter. Okay, so let me just take one example. So I know that 3 is greater than 1. Okay, by some condition or by some situation, let us assume that we have to multiply both sides by -1. So let me just write -1 into 3 is greater than -1 into 1. So if I multiply it, I will get -3 is greater than -1. So I got the relation as -3 is greater than -1. Now many of the students would have noticed over here that this relation is not true. What I'm trying to say is that -3 is not greater than -1. Instead, -3 is less than -1. Now what should be done for this kind of situation is very simple. Whenever you multiply any inequations by a negative number, then the sign of inequality has to change. So if this was greater than, here it has to become less than as soon as you multiply. I hope this is clear. And similarly, if you are supposed to divide this inequation by a negative number, say 3 by -1 is greater than 1 by -1, it will again become -3 is greater than -1, which is not true. So again, you have to change the sign of inequality. This will be less than. So these are the only two things that is different from how we used to solve equations. So in an inequations, whenever you multiply or divide by a negative number, the sign of inequality has to change then and there itself. So with all these things being said, we are good to go and start solving the problems in the classes to come. So what we have looked at today, so we have looked at what do you mean by inequations, kind of inequations or types of inequations. Then after that we looked at replacement set. Then after that we looked at solution set, and we saw dividing and multiplying by a negative number, what happens and what we are supposed to do. So this is a compulsion for everyone, which whatever has been explained in the video has to be noted down in your notebook. Thank you all of you.